Dear learners, we welcome to this video lecture session. Today's topic is binary vapor cycle. This is the 26th module of the course Thermodynamics and its application. I am Subhashish Maji, professor in School of Engineering and Technology from Indira Gandhi National Open University. After listening to this video lecture, you will be able to understand the concept of binary vapor cycle. You will be able to explain the efficiency of binary vapor cycle, and you will also be able to know the specific steam consumption in binary vapor cycle. Dear learners, you might have gone through different types of power plants like reheat power cycle, regenerative power cycles, ordinary Rankine power cycles. Now we will discuss about a new concept, that is binary vapor cycle. In ordinary Rankine vapor power cycle, we have discussed that for the steam power plant there are four important components. One is boiler, second one is turbine, third one is condenser, and the fourth one is pump. The purpose of the boiler is producing steam. The high pressure, high temperature steam then enters into the turbine and expansion of steam takes place inside the turbine, and the turbine produces the water. The shaft of the turbine is coupled with the shaft of the generator. In turn, generator will produce electricity, and the low temperature and low pressure steam will come out from the turbine and enters into the condenser. Thereby, it is condensed into liquid water, and the pump is sending the water to the boiler, thus complete the cycle. But today's discussion is binary vapor cycle. Now let us see how we can have the binary vapor cycle so that we can get more efficiency than the Rankine vapor cycle. In the vapor power cycle, most commonly used working fluid is water, but at high temperature, to get the high efficiency of vapor power cycle, some other working fluids are used. At high temperature, a few working fluids are used, which are mercury, sodium, potassium, and sodium-potassium mixtures. Among these, only mercury has been used in practice. For the best performance, the working fluid should have the following characteristics: high critical temperature and safe maximum pressure. Second characteristic is low triple point temperature. Next characteristic is condenser pressure should not be too low. High enthalpy of vaporizations, good heat transfer characteristics, and finally it should be easy availability at low cost. In order to increase the efficiency of Carnot cycle, we must either increase the initial temperature or to decrease the exit temperature of the fluid. At the normal pressure of 12 bar, the saturation temperature of water and mercury are 187 degrees centigrade and 560 degrees centigrade respectively. The highest temperature achieved in a power plant is about 550 degrees centigrade to 600 degrees centigrade. Therefore, mercury is a better working fluid in the high temperature range because its vaporization pressure is relatively low. Mercury vapor at high temperature with low pressure, which avoids the difficulties connected with high pressure. To get the high thermal efficiency of the power plant by using two working fluids such as water and mercury, the binary vapor cycle has been developed. The power cycle, which is a combination of two cycles, one in the high temperature region and the other in the low temperature region, called the binary vapor cycle. In this cycle, the condenser of the high temperature cycle, called the topping cycle, serves as the boiler of the low temperature cycle, termed the bottom cycle. Mercury water binary vapor cycle with TS diagram is shown in figure 1 and figure 2 respectively. Figure 1 and figure 2 shows the flow diagram of mercury steam power plant and the temperature entropy diagram for mercury steam binary cycle respectively. The mercury cycle, that is A, B, C, D, A, is named as topping cycle, and steam cycle, state 1, then state 2, then state 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 as the bottoming cycle. The mercury leaves the condenser as saturated liquid and steam leaves as the saturated vapor. The heat rejected by mercury during condensation is transferred to boil water and form saturated vapor, process 5 to 6. The saturated vapor is heated from the external source in the superheater, that is process 6 to 1, and superheated steam expands in the turbine, that is the process 1 to 2, and is then condensed, that is in the process 2 to 3. The feed water, that is condensed, is then pumped, that is process 3 to 4, heated till it's saturated liquid in the economizer, that is in the process in between 4 to 5, before going to mercury condenser steam boiler where the latent heat is absorbed. The condensed mercury liquid is pumped back to its boiler with the help of mercury pump. The evaporated steam is superheated in the boiler after being sent to economizer. It is then expanded isotropically in steam turbine from state 1 to state 2. Finally, the steam is condensed in the steam condenser up to 0.3 and pumped to the steam boiler. This is the diagram for mercury steam plant. Here you see mkg of mercury enters into the boiler. After that, it is being heated inside the boiler and we are getting the superheated mercury vapor, and at point A it is entering into the mercury turbine. After doing work by the mercury turbine from state A to state B, it enters the heat exchanger and heat is being transferred from the mercury to the water, which is coming out from the point 5. Now at point C, the mercury vapor will be condensed into liquid mercury, and that is just entering in the mercury pump. After that, the mercury pump pumps the liquid mercury to to the boiler. Now for the bottom cycle, it is a steam cycle. See, at state 5, the liquid water is entering in the heat exchanger and it receives heat from the mercury, and after receiving the latent heat, again it is passing through the superheater where the steam will be at a superheated state, and at point 1, that means at state 1, it just enters into the steam turbine and it does work from the state 1 to state 2, and there is work done by the steam turbine. After that, at state 2, it is entering into the condenser, and from state 2 to 3, the low pressure, low temperature steam is giving out its heat to the circulating water in the condenser, and at point 3, it will be at liquid state, and the steam pump is there for sending the water to the heat exchanger. Thus it completes the whole process. So in this process, just see the diagram, you will understand that there is work done by the mercury turbine, and the work done by the mercury turbine, that you can get from the expression M within bracket HA minus HB, where HA is the enthalpy at state A in the topping cycle and HB is the enthalpy at the state B for the topping cycle. Now we see that in the steam turbine, there is also work done by the steam turbine. That work done we can get from the expression H1 minus H2, where H1 is the enthalpy at state 1 and H2 is the enthalpy at the state 2. So work done by the steam turbine is equal to H1 minus H2. Here we are assuming that 1 kg of steam circulating through the bottom cycle. Now this is the TS diagram, that is temperature entropy diagram for mercury steam binary cycle. There is a TS diagram for the topping cycle, that is the mercury cycle, and there is a TS diagram for the steam cycle. Now you see at the point A, that is the entry point of the mercury vapor in the mercury cycle, and B is the exit point of the mercury turbine. So work done by the mercury turbine is equal to M multiplied by HA minus HB. But the work done by the steam turbine for this case is equal to H1 minus H2, since we are considering 1 kg of steam circulating at the steam cycle and m kg of mercury is circulating through the mercury cycle. Now the pump work for the steam cycle is from state 3 to state 4. So pump work for the steam cycle is equal to H4 minus H3, whereas the pump work for the mercury cycle is M multiplied by Hd minus Hc. Now we can calculate the efficiency by calculating net work done for both mercury cycle and steam cycle. We can see what is the net heat input for this binary vapor cycle, and we can calculate the efficiency of mercury steam binary cycle. Now we will calculate the efficiency of binary vapor cycle. For calculating efficiency, you know very well that efficiency is defined as output by input. What is the output? Output is the net work done by the turbine and the pump. So WT is the work done by the turbine, that is equal to M within bracket HA minus HB plus H1 minus H2. Here you see that the first term in the right hand expression of WT is M multiplied by HA minus HB, that is the work done by the mercury turbine, and the second part of the work done, that is H1 minus H2, that is the work done by the steam turbine. So the net work done by both the turbines is WT is equal to M multiplied by HA minus HB plus H1 minus H2, and the work done by the pumps is equal to M multiplied by HD minus HC plus H4 minus H3. Here there are two pumps, one is for the topping cycle and the other one is for the bottoming cycle. So net work is WT minus WP, that is the output for the binary vapor cycle. But Q1 is the heat input is equal to M multiplied by HA minus HD plus H1 minus H6 plus H5 minus H4. So M is the mass of the mercury circulating in the topping cycle, and in the bottoming cycle we assume that 1 kg of steam circulating in the steam cycle. But Q2 is the heat rejected in the condenser in the steam turbine, that is equal to H2 minus H3. Now we know very well that WP is called pump work per kg of steam and WT is the turbine work per kg of steam, and Q2 is equal to heat rejected into the condenser. Now in this case we have calculated WT, that is the work done by both the turbines, and WP is the work done by both the pumps. So once you calculated the work done by both the turbines and work done by both the pumps, so net work will be WT minus WP, and heat input Q1, that also you have calculated for this case, and once you calculated WT minus WP, that is the output net work, and Q1 is known, then there is no problem for calculating the efficiency, that is equal to net work done by the heat supplied, that is equal to WT minus WP divided by Q1. Now steam rate equal to 3600 divided by WT minus WP. Unit is kg per kilowatt hour. Dear learners, here you see that 3600 is there on the numerator. Why? Because we have to convert the steam rate per hour. That's why we have to multiply on the numerator, that is 3600. That's why the steam rate is coming at 3600 divided by WT minus WP. Now the energy balance of the mercury condenser steam boiler gives the heat lost by mercury vapor is equal to heat gained by steam, and this heat transfer is going on in the heat exchangers, and because the heat lost by mercury vapor is equal to heat gained by steam, so heat lost by mercury vapor is equal to m into Hb minus Hc is equal to H6 minus H5. So you can calculate the mass of mercury, that comes out to be m equal to H6 minus H5 divided by Hb minus Hc. Unit is kg, Hg divided by kg of water. Here we have discussed the binary vapor cycle in detail. Now let us summarize what we have discussed in today's lecture session. We have discussed the concept of binary vapor cycle. We have discussed the efficiency of binary vapor cycle. We have also discussed the specific steam consumption in binary vapor cycle. Thank you very much.